Today, I remembered something that I teach my clients all the time. Transformation is always available to me and to you. And one small change at a time is actually all it takes to happen. If you've been feeling stuck or overwhelmed, you're trying to make progress towards your goals, whatever they are, and not getting anywhere. Or perhaps you've found yourself doing what I've been doing a little bit lately, and that's avoiding doing the things you know you should be doing. Even when you want the outcome that doing those things would produce. So if you've been feeling any of that, stick with me today. I'm going to talk a little bit about why that happens in our brain. And no, it's not because you're weak-willed or no good or undisciplined. It's actually some real evolutionary biology going on there. I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to share 2 strategies that I use when I remember to get myself out of it. So, hi, if you're joining me live, let me know, say hi in the comments. If you're watching a replay, type replay, let me know that you're watching a replay. If you don't know me, my name's Brian. I'm a life coach and a weight loss coach. And I help people change their relationship with food and with themselves so that they can actually change their habits, get to goal, and live there for life. Give up that dieting forever. And, I wanted to share this topic today because, none of us are perfect. We're all human. And for me, over the last few weeks, I've been working on some new trainings. And I've found myself avoiding doing the work, actually writing out the modules, recording the videos, etc. I realized today that I've been feeling overwhelmed. I knew I kind of felt that along the way. I've been feeling stuck, like I didn't know what to do next, or I didn't know what to say, or there's too much to do. And when our brain gets like that, it starts to actively avoid doing the things, right? It's been avoiding working on all of them. And of course, it does that to keep me safe, and so does your brain. So our brains have this programming in there. So why does this happen that we get stuck, that we feel overwhelmed or stressed, or we actually avoid things that we choose to do, that we actually want to be doing? Somehow we end up not doing them. We get stuck scrolling social media or watching Netflix or sitting on the couch or eating. We buffer against the uncomfortable emotion. And what happens here, of course, that those primitive structures in our brain get fired up. They get on alert when it feels like there's lots of change going on at once. Really think about that. If you go back into our prehistory, go back into our ancestors, go back to our cave days, maybe life didn't change all that much. There weren't heaps of changes to be undertaken all at a time. It was like, if you like, a slower pace of life. Unless there was some kind of event, a natural disaster, or an attack, some kind of aggression, that there was interruption to our daily cycles, right? Or, maybe the seasons changed, food was becoming more scarce, and then we had to move cave, right? Had to go and find new food and new water sources and new shelter, new safety. And when we think about all those things, the natural environment, maybe floods or fire or earthquake or any of these sorts of things, we can think about how often, I wonder how often our brains have been triggered for that throughout COVID over the last 18 months. That there's all of these changes going on. And so our brain thinks that when there's lots and lots of changes at once, we must be in some kind of emergency state. And when we're in that state, our brain instinctively, like those primitive structures in our brain, fire up, they do what's called amygdala hijack, they take over, and they try and keep us safe. And one of the ways that our brain keeps it safe is by returning to what is familiar, what is comfortable. It's trying to seek the comfort of our familiar routines, our familiar environment. It wants us to stay in the cave we're in, even if we don't like that cave. very much. It has us doing what we've always done, sticking to our original existing routines, rather than the new ones that we want to be creating. Let me know in the comments if you've ever done this. You feel like you're overwhelmed or you're stuck and you go back to bad habits. This might be procrastination. It might be avoidance. It might be hiding. It might be buffering with food or drink. It might be buffering with social media. What are your go-to ways of avoiding doing the things you need to be doing in life? Right? And again, this is perfectly normal. It's our brain trying to protect us, trying to keep us in that feeling of safety. Now, the good news is, this is good news to become aware of it, to realize that, oh, that's what's happening. It's not that you're weak or I'm weak or we're stupid or hopeless, that we're undisciplined or unmotivated. We might be motivated. Like, how often do you want to do a thing, but then avoid doing the thing? And the reason is not that you're weak-willed or you're not strong enough. It's that your brain is just getting tricked. It's getting triggered to go into this survival avoidance mechanic. So we can understand what's going on. Brain's working perfectly. And the good news here is, beyond just the fact that we can become aware of it and that it's not about our personality or our character, it's just the way our brain works. Then, we get to think about the fact that we actually have a more evolved part of our brain, our prefrontal cortex as well, the most evolutionary recent part of our brain, that can supervise the rest of our brain, that can take charge of us. It's the us behind ourselves. It's the part of us that can see into the future and look towards our goals and our hopes and dreams. When we're in the stuck and overwhelm and avoidance tactic, our brain isn't really worried about tomorrow. It isn't worried about getting to our goal weight, or to getting that book written, or to improving our relationships, or getting that workout in. It's trying to focus on survival in the moment because it feels it's overwhelmed. There's too much. So instead, we have to take one of two paths. And I want to share with you two strategies today that I know work, that I use to get myself out of this, and I help with my clients do as well. And I remember, now again, none of us are perfect, none of us are human. Everything is here for us. And so, I realize I've been stuck just because my brain had been focusing on this idea, of course, that transformation is always available. You only have to make one small change at a time in terms of food habits, in terms of exercise habits, in terms of health and well-being. Now, of course, I am an expert at those. I've changed my routine so that those are already there. And my brain went, I don't have to worry about that anymore. But of course, I'm making changes here in a business sense. I'm making change with my coaching. I'm making a new training. And so the same situations apply. So it doesn't really matter what your task is that you're trying to get done. Your brain can throw up this screen, this retreat to safety. Here are two paths that you can choose. And I want to encourage you to remember that, seriously, either of them is okay. There's no right way. So as I talk through these, I want you to think about applying one or the other, and think about it, and then just notice if it feels open, accepting, willing, if that does feel like you're moving forward, or if you have resistance to it and you want to push against it. If so, then try the other one, because they're two very different approaches. The first one. So you're noticing avoidance, you're not doing what you want to do, you're feeling stuck and overwhelmed, okay? Well, option one is to get comfortable with the discomfort, right? Our brain is trying to avoid uncomfortable feelings about change, about disruption, about having to learn something new. It might be hard, wants to tell us we can't do it. Okay, that feels uncomfortable. That's what your brain's trying to escape from by going back to the familiar. So you can instead decide to get comfortable with the discomfort. You can reassure your brain. You've got to do this in a loving and a kind way. So often people make the mistake here of trying to do this in a critical, a judgmental way. Just do it. Go on. Why can't you? You're so stupid, etc., etc. No, don't do that. It's got to come from kindness. It's got to come from love. So reassure your brain. Oh, you're doing it on purpose. Yes, I know it's uncomfortable, but I'm choosing to do this. I'm doing this for me. And encourage yourself. You can totally handle it. It's okay that I feel uncomfortable here. I'm willing to do this anyway. So we come to willingness, we come to commitment, and in doing it this way, embracing the hard, embracing the discomfort, we call this wading into the river of misery in coaching, something at some point we do have to do to transform. But what happens here, and the real transformation that takes place, is you grow your capacity to do hard things, but not from a place of forcing yourself or disciplining yourself to do it, but from loving yourself forward, from encouraging, from reassuring, to reminding yourself that it's okay. This isn't actually an emergency, it's something I'm wanting to do. So it helps you reconnect with, so it's helpful here to reconnect with your desire. Why does it matter that you do it? Why do you want to be open to the discomfort? So that's part one. Embrace the discomfort, reassure your brain that you're doing it on purpose and it's okay, that you've got it, that you are strong enough, you can handle it. And see if your brain quietens down. If it does, go on and do the thing. If it doesn't, if it's still trying to get into that, military mindset, just do it. If you're still resisting, then think about the second approach. And that is to make a smaller change, to reduce or scale back the number of changes you're trying to make or the scope, the size of those changes. Bring them closer to what you're already doing. Right? Not the same as what you're already doing, right? It does still need to be an improvement, but make it smaller or give yourself more time to make the change. Although be careful of that one. Sometimes the brain will just leap on that one because it wants to just, delay. That's the same as staying with where you are. So make sure that you are being realistic with your time frames of achieving your goals, and if you need be, spread those out. But then bring it back to, what one small action can I take today that is an improvement, but might not be as much as I was doing? So for instance, I have people say things like, I'm going to go to the gym every day for an hour, or I'm going to, change all of my food. So I'm going to be cooking at home, and I'm going to be eating healthy every meal. Even if you have been eating unhealthily every meal, just grabbing the takeaway or the whatever, the make-dos. It might not be realistic for you to change every meal. It might not be realistic to do an hour's workout every day, go to a walk every day, go to the gym every day, unless it's something close to what you're already doing. So instead, break it down. What is the first step? What is the small piece that I can do that actually is an improvement? Can I get up and walk around the house for 10 minutes when I would have been just sitting down? Can I get a free workout on YouTube or any of the many fitness apps that are out there? There are heaps of them. Can I just do one 10-minute low-intensity routine if I'm just starting? If I'm already walking, can I do a little bit more? 5 minutes more, 3 minutes more. Can do one extra side of a block. In terms of food, can I eat one healthy meal today? Can I slow down? Can I make a smaller change? Can I just change the proportions of the meal that I am choosing? I talked about writing a book or something like that before. Can I write one paragraph, one sentence? Can I write down one idea? Okay. Break it down into really small. What is the next small change? I often call this the minimum viable change. So scale back your goals or the number of changes you're making. Like I see, this is the biggest mistake I think I see most people make, is they try and change everything at once. They're going to change the food, they're going to change the way they talk to themselves and their inner dialogue, their mental state, and they're going to change the way they eat, the way they shop, the way they cook, the types of food they enjoy. They try and change everything at once. And of course, our brain trips over into emergency, something's wrong, and it avoids doing it. Or you can do it, you can white knuckle it or force your way through it for a short period of time, but then the willpower runs out. So, let me reiterate. If you're feeling stuck, or if you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're just avoiding doing what you actually want to do, then just take it as a sign that nothing's going wrong. Your brain's just telling you that you might be making too big a change or too many changes at once. So have an honest look at those and go, well, can I actually honestly get myself to do this change? Can I realistically do it? How many other changes am I trying to do in my world at the moment? And then either reassure your brain that you're doing it on purpose, that you're totally capable of handling it, it is within your capacity, and encourage yourself forward, reconnect with why it matters, and choose to embrace the hard, embrace the discomfort. Or scale those choices back until they really do feel doable, but are still an improvement. And then do those things. Those things add up over time and they increase your capacity to do more. You make the small change, and practice it, it becomes normal. When it's routine, you can make another change and another change. And your brain doesn't get tripped over into that emergency state. So, let me know in the comments. Which path feels right to you? Embracing the discomfort of hard, or breaking the task down to be truly doable? So that you can calm that scared part of your brain and get yourself moving forward. Let me know, what one small change will you make to start your transformation today? And of course, if you need more help with this, you've been trying on your own and that ain't working, you've been doing it forever, or you keep going back in the same patterns. You're good for a little while and then off, and good for a little while and off. That's how I used to be with my weight loss. I'd be good for 3 weeks or 3 days or 3 hours, and then I'd fall back into my old routines because I was trying to change to everything at once. So if you do need more help with that, you can send me a direct message or book a call at livemorelife.com.au. Let's have a conversation and see if working together can help you make the changes that you want and create the life that you want to live. Otherwise, brace the hard or break it down and just take one small step today. Transformation is always available to you, and you can do it one small change at a time. Thanks for joining me. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.